What's going on? What's up in the collective? It's been a while since your girl has done a live video in here. Well, it's probably been about a week, maybe. But anywho, I am coming in here because it's time for us to have a very candid conversation. And so this kind of spirals out because of several things that I've experienced over the last couple of days. And so one of those has to do with a post that I put up about my opinion, my view about masks. And another part of it has to do with we'll see how some of you all feel because of the dynamic of the culture changing in the group, or at least what you may think is changing in the group. Hey, to whoever's been able to make it. And so when it comes to freedom of expression, a lot of us like to say, oh, I'm authentic. I'm me. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to say what I have to say. But you have very little tolerance for other people's freedom of expression. And so when you have self love and you have high self worth, you don't really care, about a lot of things that don't matter. So, for instance, there's a young woman that I'm friends with that I grew up with named Sparkle. She put up a post up on Facebook and was like, y'all need to just put the damn mask on, instead of cussing people out. If a business wants you to put it on and go on about your business. And so, then the exchange went into her post about, oh, look at these privileged white people. They don't want to put on a mask. And then she was like, well, it ain't just them, it's us too. And some posts I avoid, but I actually responded to this post. And the reason being was because I ain't no privileged white person. And I don't agree with wearing a mask. And so I just said, well, in my opinion, I said, I'm not gonna argue. But if I go up to a door and I see that it says mandatory mask, then you don't get my money. And so I knew that this day was coming because I see the psychological BS that's going on and how they're testing the levels of control and how well people conform. So I have already begun buying, anything from toothpaste and mouthwash. And so a lot of things from companies that have always been online, period. Because I'm not going to not go in your store, but then go and use your online option. Because if you're going to force me to surrender to something that I absolutely just don't believe, then you don't deserve my money. That's my own personal place, that my own personal feeling. Now, I'm not mad at her because she wants to wear a mask. I don't think it makes sense, but it's not enough for me to be like, oh, see, that's why I can't be connected to somebody like her. Because, we have to understand that there's a lot of things that we don't get. There's a lot of things that we don't get, and we can't seem to grow and heal, especially in the Black community, let alone interracially, because we don't understand that agreeing to disagree is actually an adult concept. The things that matter, like human life is valuable. We shouldn't even have no questions about that. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're black, white, or whatever, as long as you value human life, then we good. You start talking about mass murder, killing, discriminating, being racist and stuff like that, that's one thing. But I mean, like, I don't understand now that I'm out of the darkness. I don't understand how people can tell people that unless they have Jesus Christ, they gonna go to hell. I can understand how some people believe that Jesus Christ and that it is the connection to their source, to the relationship that they have with the Father. I surely do, because I know what it looks like in the season of my life where that's all that I had. And I will not say now, oh, that was just some hocus pocus BS stuff, and that Jesus wasn't real to me. Yeah, but I also learned that there were more facets to God than that. God evolved in relationship with me. But at the end of the day, I don't knock people that are Christians. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I have a conversation, or some of you guys may be on one of my rants, you may see that I will go in on so-called Christians, because if you come for me, then I'm going to give it back to you. And so that's something that I'm beginning to realize even more and more, that we're so busy trying to debate over our vantage point and making sure that what we think and we feel is the only thing that's heard, that we're not allowing everybody else to have the freedom of expression as well. I was editing one of the videos. Like I told you, this bubble that I'm dealing with comes from a bunch of stuff. So I was editing one of the videos. Brother Frederick, one of our members here in the community, he's doing one of the summit interviews, and we're talking about not having family support. And so at one point of the interview, I was like, whoa, 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 hold up. See, everybody think that women got it together. We have these wonderful communities online. I said, but if we really think about what we're taught these stereotypes that too many women in a room won't get along, and that brothers have to do a better job. They could be arguing and fighting today, but still be back on the court with each other tomorrow. Whereas friends, girls just be breaking up for no reason. And so we got to dissecting this thing down. I'm like, man, we're going through the same thing. It's manifesting slightly different because we've said certain stereotypes that we can't even see that as brothers and sisters, we're dealing with a common issue. And so women are sometimes thinking that we got it harder than the men, or the men are thinking that they got it harder than the women. But how about the fact that we all just have our issues that we have to get through, period? And so when you start realizing that, then you allow people to express themselves differently. And so another thing that happened is a new queen, came into the to the Authentic Collective. And she's like, hey, I'm 64, okay. She didn't say she was a herbalist, but she's in health and wellness. She has a farm. She's like, look, I know how it is to deal with ish as a woman. I don't even want to understand how it looks to deal with ish, you know what I'm saying, as a black woman. But this is what I love, and I'm here, and I'm hoping that you all will accept me. And then one of the things, matter of fact, I want to look directly at her post. She says, she said it's been hard enough being a woman. Being a black woman must be ridiculous at times. I hope you don't mind me being in the group. If I do make anyone uncomfortable, I understand and I will leave. Blessings. And so this was my response to her. I said, welcome. It's an honor to have you here. We're here to educate, empower, and heal. That means at times it may get uncomfortable. As the creator of this community, it is my promise discomfort will be tolerated. Not untolerated. It says that discomfort will be tolerated because that is where change occurs. We live in truth and love. Your decision to come on over says you're right where you need to be. And so let me just make sure, some of you could be over here and be like, see, August, when we came over here, you was all about this black women. This was our space. Now you're doing a summit. And you brought some men in, and now you're doing this, and then white women are coming over. And it's like, look, first of all, if you listen to the welcome video, I already broke it down that I want us to have the freedom of expression. This is still a melanated zone. Someone here has to understand that it's not going to have the same vibe or culture. So if I go to a pub, you know what I'm saying, and I'm drinking beer and stuff with my white partners like I used to when I was younger, it's going to be different if I go to the club. And so if our beautiful new companion here decides that she wants to be at the club, she has to adapt to the club vibe. But being uncomfortable is something that we got to start learning to tolerate. See, I can tolerate discomfort. I can't tolerate disrespect. And so I've had to put a black woman out of this group because she was like, y'all black women the same, because she couldn't get something that she wanted. And she started talking reckless and crazy. And I was like, okay, not only will we remove you, but we will block and delete you, boo-boo. You cannot be here anymore. And so my thing is a lot of times we can have our mind on a timetable. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this in this way. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I had no idea what was going to happen. I had this vision that I'm going to start this community. It's going to be black women. It might take us a year or two to really work out some things. Then we kind of bring the brothers in, and then we start bringing in more women of color, and then we bring in Caucasians, because y'all already know where I stand. I am very firm in the fact that we need to deal with our ish, but all black people ain't good and all white people ain't bad. Black devils is the ones that's broke into my place and stole from me through all the many years. And I've had some white people do some really shitty racist stuff for me, and I've had some open up some doors for me. And so at the end of the day, division is the man's plan. Division, we're divided on everything. We're divided on whether or not you're homosexual or heterosexual, whether you got a lot of money or you got a little money. You know, what's your zip code? What city do you live in? What kind of state do you live in? Are you in the city or are you in the suburbs? Are you Christian or, are you atheist? Are you pro-life or are you pro-abortion? Or are you vegan or are you over there eating that meat? We don't need anything else to be divided on. And so, as long as a person isn't disrespecting you and seeking to grow and gather understanding, that's the place that I ultimately want us to be in. And so, I'm just coming in here to say I freely express myself. And I know that everything that I say on my videos, that everybody doesn't necessarily agree with what I'm saying 100%. The things that you do, you high five me or you dap me up, and the things that you don't, you either don't speak to or you say your own opinion. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be sitting here like, I wish she'd just get her Christian ass up out this group. Or okay, all right, she's sitting there trying to tell everybody else what to do with their life. I'm gonna need her to go on out of here with her superficial, plastic makeup or about. It's not like that. It's not like that. And so there are the truths. There are many, many truths, and that's hard for us to understand. Is that there is not just one answer. There is not just one answer. So that's like somebody that is an amazing herbalist. Oh my God, you want to lose weight, you want to get your body right, you want to do all of these things. You really, really need to put these herbs in your body. Okay, well, there's some people out there that have tried herbs, and while they may have given them clarity of thought, better blood flow, reduced blood pressure, even maybe reduce diabetes. Well, what about the person where it's like, though, but the weight still isn't coming off? Some of those people have needed to actually go through some psychotherapy. They had to get some counseling. They've had to do some spiritual healing because of some trauma, because their weight was not associated with what they were putting in their body. It's associated with the energy that they're harvesting in their body. And so the natural weight is soft and it's a cushion. So you find that some people specialize in helping people lose weight by losing pain, by detaching from memories that make them feel safe. You see? And so just because one works doesn't mean that the other person is wrong. You guys hear me say all the time, oh, I don't do summits like this and I don't do stuff like that. Look, y'all, a prime example is I'm friends with Stacey Walker. Stacey Walker was my coach. She's the one who taught me how to do summits. She's one of the people that has like 36 speakers on a summit. Sometimes it's less than that. She does like 20-minute segments. Now, her summits still are value packed, and she has a great selection process. She has great speakers in her summit. She knows better. But when I start going off and talking about all these speakers, they be doing all these summits, they be giving you like 30, 40 speakers, and they don't hardly give you no content. But mine, when I start saying that, the reason why we're able to stay friends is because she knows I'm not targeting her. She knows that I'm not talking about her. What I'm doing, I'm only zeroing in on one thing as a business owner. What does my ideal client want to hear? The people that want all the products and services that I have, they want to hear that they're not getting wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And so if their mind automatically has an association with that, then I have to speak that. And so some of you, we're taking this off of personal. Let's just put it on the business. Many of you aren't necessarily seeing the breakthrough because you don't really want to say it the way that it is, because you're too worried about someone else that you're connected to or you're close to who may describe what they do differently. And so you don't want to make it seem like you're shitting on them. And it's not about them, because the way they do what they do, they get results for people. The way you do what you do, you get results for people. And so we have to get to this place where that freedom of expression is tolerated. I'll take it to a movie. Tina Turner. Tina Turner was raised in the church, but she went through hell with Ike. But when she got into, doing her Buddhist chants and, that's where she found her place of peace. So for somebody to tell her, you ain't got no real peace, you don't have no real peace because you don't serve the God that I serve. No, you're not being tolerant of the fact that that is her truth. And when we get to that place, then that's when we're able to be bigger and better people. See, most of us, we don't even realize that we are so spiritually finite that that's the reason why we can't evolve and develop the kind of relationships that we need to have with people, because we are trying to honestly impose our spirit onto other people. Because please understand, I'll take it back to the mask. Some of you all, you need to have a mask on your face. You know why? Because the fear and paranoia that you have from catching COVID is real. And if you breathe in one wrong thing, it don't even have to be COVID. It could just be a germ. You guys heard of the placebo effect. You taking a sugar pill, but you think you found the cure and your body ends up healing. You all haven't tapped into the power of your mind. So when I see people, I'll be like, man, I feel bad because they sleep. But I'm not going to start this campaign to tell everybody, you know what, take your mask off. But what I am saying is that I won't wear one. Me surrendering and wearing a mask would be me saying to my spirit, you're afraid. I'm sorry. Somebody could think I'm absolutely crazy. I do not have a body that is capable of harvesting COVID. Do you understand me? Oh yeah, I know I don't have optimal health. I know that I'm like not 125 pounds with, a body percentage of under 3%. No, that's not what this is about. This is about me understanding that there's something. Look, I've been this way. My mother had cancer and almost died. Her mother had cancer and died. Guess who don't have cancer and is not going to die from cancer? I even said back then, I was like, I don't have a cancer-friendly body. And I didn't just use those words. I began to take things like bacon and sausage out of my diet because I'm like, oh, those are carcinogens. Oh, I'm not going to be drinking Pepsis every day. I changed my lifestyle. I changed how much salt. I changed how much sugar. And I changed what I was putting in my body. Well, with everything that's going on with COVID and hearing everything about 5G, what did I do? I said, let me turn up the heat 1,000% on how I am feeding my body to make sure that it's not disease friendly. And isn't it funny? Can I just go on a tangent? Isn't it funny that right before the release of COVID, they killed Dr. Sebi? Yeah, and I did say they killed him. Yes, I did. They murder our leaders. But isn't that crazy? The man that had to go to court to let it be known, you ain't going to put me in jail for lying and say that I cure cancer, AIDS, hepatitis, herpes, anything that you can think of. Right before they released this pandemic, one of the most prolific leaders of our time as it pertains to nutrition was murdered, poisoned. You have to follow him and track his story. And while we're going through all of these changes, you have to look at the evilness behind what has occurred. And so people could look at me like I'm crazy, but some of you all, you need to be free. You need to express your truth. And so some of you are so busy worried about yielding, people can justify whatever they want to justify. So which it means you speaking your truth is not about you trying to convince anybody to believe what you're saying. You speaking your truth is not trying to get people to believe what you believe. It's just about you putting it in the atmosphere so that other like-minded people are connected to you. I watched the sister on a video on IG and she was like, yeah, well, I believe, that the Bible says that we're supposed to, listen to our leaders and abide by the laws of the land. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, she's sleep as fuck. Really? So you think it's your Christian duty to put on a mask? Well, it's your Christian duty to shut your black ass up because you're only 3/5 of a human being. It's your Christian duty to not agree with protesting because when they use those bullets and what's-my-jigger bullets and when they put the tear gas out there and they were arresting protesters, civil disobedience, and they were still getting hammered. That's the government that you in. It says it's okay. Oh, you don't think God is anti-bullshit government? Well, let me make sure that I remind you that that's exactly what he did with Moses. He said, he didn't say go to the senators or the congressmen. He didn't say march on City Hall and go talk to the mayor. He said, go to the top. He said, no, we finna rebel. I want you to go straight to the Pharaoh and tell him I said, let my people go. So once again, this is why we have to feel free to express ourselves. Because if you don't, you will find yourself looking like a zombie. See, I understand where I'm at, why I think. You're not going to tell me that I serve a God that only wants me to just be peaceful and be still and always go along and get along. Because the last time I checked, Jesus whooped ass. And I know some Christians don't like to hear me say it that way, but it's the truth. Because when they turned the temple into a den of thieves, it says that he turned over the tables. People always say he turned over the tables, like he had a temporary anger management issue. Keep reading. It says, and he scourged them out the temple. He was like this, pow, pow. Scourge is a fancy word for whipped. He's like, get the fuck up out of here. See what I'm saying? And a lot of people can't even tolerate that about me. They be like, oh my gosh, she be talking about the Bible, then she be cussing because y'all done made that something sacred that it's not. See, God is sacred. And all words and all language belongs to him. I'm not using any words out of context. Once again, freedom of expression. There are people out there wishing people harm. There are people out there right now thinking about it. That's why I hope they ass catch COVID. They'll learn to wear a mask then. That's cussing. That's cursing somebody. Now, for me, I understand that your words mean absolutely nothing because, see, you can't curse something that's blessed. But for the person that's oblivious to what's coming to them, see, that's what I'm saying. People be thinking that they are okay. But then they won't allow you to have the freedom of expression and they say crazy shit like that. I hope they catch COVID, then they understand. Really? That's your solution? Okay. So yeah, just a random video coming in here talking to you guys. We hadn't talked for a while. You know who you are, and it's a couple of y'all on here. Thank you for being here. Y'all quiet today, and that's cool. I understand sometimes people don't want to have nothing to say. You just want to kind of listen, soak it in, and hey, you do what you do. But please understand this. If we're going to get anywhere, and if we're going to go, and if we're going to grow, then we have to become more tolerant of people being different. And we have to be more tolerant of uncomfortable conversations. See, we can tolerate discomfort. We cannot tolerate disrespect. Okay? We can tolerate discomfort because things change outside of our comfort zone, but we'll never tolerate disrespect. Okay? So that was just me coming to chime in with you all. I'll be back again in the meantime, in between time. Deuces.